Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Start New BFF podcast. Today, I have Lara here, my good friend from Canada, who is originally from Australia. She traveled abroad. She started in new countries many times, but mainly she started in Canada. And yeah, I wanted to ask her how she did it and what she thought about it.
I used to enjoy traveling a lot when I was younger, in my 20s and 30s. And it was just kind of part of the lifestyle that I was living at the time. I got a working holiday visa for Canada and came here with the intention of just working for a while and then traveling some more and probably finding another country to live in and work later on. But I fell in love with Canada when I arrived here. It's so beautiful. The mountains are gorgeous. The ocean was stunning. The people were lovely. And then I met somebody and ended up staying here. So
Nice. Perfect. What motivated you to start traveling? You know,
adventure. I guess it's adventure. I thought it was boring to just stay at home in the same town with the same people. They're always there. You can always go back and see them. So I just thought I'd just go for a little while and see what happens. And I'm now 25 years into it or something.
wow, you have been longer out than in.
Yeah, I think it's actually no, let me try and calculate it a bit better. I think it's been about 20 years. I left in or 19 years. I left in 2005 for good, yeah, of Australia.
No. Oh, wow, crazy. Did you encounter any challenges by moving?
There's lots of challenges. I mean, the biggest challenge to begin with, not just with Canada, but when I originally left Australia, is having the confidence in yourself to you don't know anybody when you move to a new country, is like meeting people and forcing yourself out there to make friends and make connections and being brave enough to have to go and meet people to try and move into a place or find a place to live. And then, looking for a job and going for interviews and finding out how you set everything up in a new country, you're going to live and survive there. So at the beginning, like I think the most daunting thing is just challenging yourself to be confident enough to go out there to do it. And then after you've had some practice, it's like everything, you kind of get used to doing it and it's not so bad, that it works out.
Right. And you lived in London also for some time, right? So
Yeah.
when you moved to Canada, maybe did you feel like starting in new country, maybe the second time, like working there, not just going to travel, was easier than the first time?
Much easier. I think the more you travel and even just being in other countries for a long time, even if you're not working, gives you the confidence that you're like, okay, this is what I need to do to be able to succeed, and I'm going to go and do these things and make it happen. Um,
Cool.
yeah.
How did you navigate the cultural differences? I know that Canada and Australia is not that crazy
Yeah.
different, but still, I mean,
And yeah, they're not. I mean, they're not crazy different or anything like that. For starters, I mean, it's the same language, so that's the biggest hurdle I would consider with culture to begin with, is that being able to communicate well and easily with other people. So I didn't have that barrier, thankfully. But then it's just the longer you're somewhere, the more you see the subtle differences. I don't know if it's easier or harder when they're quite similar, because when they're quite similar, it's harder to see very specific things. Like, I don't know, Canadians don't generally as honest and straightforward. They don't like confrontation, the ones that I know. So if there's ever an issue or a problem with somebody, it's not a direct conversation usually, which is very different to Australian. And then, so you don't know there's an issue, or if there is one that is not brought up until a lot later when it could have been resolved at the beginning. So, that's just one example of just smaller things that you don't know until you've been there for a while, and then you start learning that that's how people are. And yeah,
right. And did you use any specific support system when you moved? Maybe like when I moved first to Canada, because that was my first start, I would say I would hang out with expats, mainly from Czech, and then other expats who had
yeah,
similar experiences or went through
uh,
this thing.
100%. I think almost anywhere I go, whether I'm traveling or living, my first go to is to find other people that are in the same shoes, that are either traveling from the area, and start getting to know them and learning, from what they've learned already. That's a good way to start anywhere, no matter where you are. It's like, how do you do this? Or how did you find it? Or how long have you been here for? Like, what's the currency? How do you barter for things? What's the price of things? What's a safe place to go? What's not a safe place to go? So many things like that. So, yeah.
Right. Totally. Do you think any of your skills you gained in Australia helped you in your new start in London, in Canada, or anywhere else where you lived a little bit longer?
Probably just I mean, just a cultural thing of how we are is that we're quite upfront and can confront maybe situations that are considered a bit difficult pretty head on. So I think that's not just specific to me. I think that's quite a trait of a lot of Australians to just sort it out and not hide from it and just face it and just figure it out. And another thing, I guess, that's been very helpful is the education that I got back in Australia before I left. So I had something under my belt, so to speak, to use that as my stepping stool for finding a job.
Right. And your accountant, which is very similar around the world and very smart of you to become an accountant because you can do it.
It
Yeah.
depends. I mean, it also can be limiting too once you have an education in something. For some people, right? You spend all your time, well, not for you, I guess, you change, but you spend all this time and money and effort and sweat and tears to get that education, that piece of paper that sometimes it also almost locks you into staying there. And it kind of did that for me. I did branch out or try things that are probably much more suitable to the kind of person that I am. I just
Right.
kept on going back to the same thing. So it can be great because you have a step exam, but it's like anything. You can have a trade, just something that's recognized in another place where you want to work is really helpful.
Right. Well, I mean, like I went to IT because law was very limiting to a certain country. So that was kind of like it didn't allow me to move around as much as I wanted to. You can try all different things as well.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Yeah, I can. I would say more content to just continuing doing the status quo.
right. I see. Well,
Yeah.
when the kids are small, maybe when the kids grow up, you'll be like, all
Yeah.
right.
I'll have to ask myself again, what is it that I like and enjoy to do and figure it out again. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. How did you maintain your resilience and determination while starting new in new places?
I think that just comes from within. I think that if you give up, I mean, yeah, if you stop trying, then you're not going to achieve anything. And you can have some really shitty days. You can have some really shitty times. It's all part of life, right? You could be at home exactly where you know, and it could be the same too. So, you just have to just wake up each day and remember it's a new day and start again if it's been a bad time. And keep a really positive attitude. I mean, attitude is the key to life. Without a positive attitude or a good attitude, like everything's shit, really.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think about setting goals and visions for starting new in new country and even new career? But like even like for you, it was always starting new job somewhere.
Yeah.
Although it was the same.
It's just being realistic about, well, what do you need to do to be able to survive? And then what do you want to do? I think the first thing, just being really logical and practical about it, is saying, okay, if you're moving somewhere, well, you need somewhere to live. Just very basic things. You need somewhere to live. You're going to need to have money at some point, unless you've got like a steady stream from somewhere else, and good on you if you do. These are just, and then if you do that, well, then you need things like a bank account if you're going to be paid, or if you're getting paid in cash, great, but you might decide or figure out that you need to pay your taxes. So you need like a tax file number in a country. And so just some really simple, like just very logical, practical steps to begin with. What do you need to do to get set up? And then after that, what do you want to do? Like, why did you go to that country? Were the things in that country you wanted to go and see? Was it the people? Was it the food? Like there was a reason that drew you to a different part of the world to start new. And then it's trying to immerse yourself and figure out, well, what do you most want to do? And how do you go about doing that or getting there?
True, true. And what do you think about personal growth in context of starting new in different countries, different jobs?
I think it's your own personal growth of the confidence and experience, knowing that you can actually
Like somewhere else.
Yes, and make it somewhere else. It really is. It's quite liberating because it takes away this restriction that a lot of people have in their mind, this security that they need of like staying where they are and keeping that job. It's so liberating to just figure out it's actually not even that hard. Just go and do it. You
Yeah,
can do it.
that's
And
true.
you
But
can
how?
swing anywhere, do anything. You can be anyone. You can do it, the sky's the limit, really. If you want to set like, want to set goals.
Yeah, no, sure. Well, I mean, like I still have a lot of goals. I know what I want to do.
Life, isn't it? Setting goals and achieving them and then, figuring out what else you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes for interesting life for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, did you encounter any setbacks or failures?
Sure. I mean, like there's always setbacks in like and you can be really stressed about like you really need a place and you haven't found a place and you're running out of time and you're running out of money, you're staying in a hostel, you're like, what am I going to do? You just got to believe and just keep trying. And if you can, borrow a bit of money from someone else to keep you going another weeks until hopefully you find a place to, you'll always tend to find a way when you start getting really tight for like, I can't, this isn't working. This isn't working. Like, what am I going to do? You just got to just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying and don't give up.
Right. Have you had any like an unexpected opportunity which would show up for you and you would seize it while starting?
I mean, there's opportunities all over the place. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Opportunity coming here. So let's buy meeting somebody that wants to travel across Canada. Let's buy a van and let's travel across Canada. I mean, there's lots of examples of that. I think that everyone that starts new, if you're open to opportunities, they could be little or they could be really big, Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, that'd be one example, for instance. Yeah. Just being open to if that's what you want to go do or and somebody else wants to do it, let's make it work together.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Just being open and meeting people and being open to what they have to say and maybe offer. Totally.
Yeah.
What strategies did you use to start new in like new countries? Did you have any strategy or you just did it?
But yeah, I don't think I really had. I mean, I think I was a bit too young and naive the first time around to
Yeah,
have a
certainly.
strategy, in place. Just like I want to go somewhere, I want to go live somewhere else, and I'm going to go do it. And then I figured that out. I got there. I think after experiencing it like one time and doing it, like having to set up new at one time, then it helps you have a bit of a strategy for the next time. It's like, well, before I get there, what documents might I need to be able to start setting myself up? Or what jobs are there out there? Maybe I can get in touch with people. I can start setting some things up before I got there. So I'd say my strategy changed after you've learned all the steps of what you need to do to set up somewhere new. If I could do any of that in advance before I got there, I would then try and do that now instead of just having it all of a sudden do everything on the day that you arrive in the country.
Right, right. That's probably better. It's a little bit more secure, but I also like to. But I kind of like the planning of the new move. Also, for me, that's like a part of the
Yeah.
excitement. Just doing it.
Oh yeah. I mean, my most exciting thing is like that I bought my flight. And that was
Yeah, yeah,
about it. Like, I don't know about the rest of it yet, but I've got my ticket. I'm going.
yeah.
I've got 3 months to figure it out. What am I doing when I get there?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Can you share any memorable experience from starting new?
Well, I mean, I remember lots, but it's all just kind of like living really. I don't know, just meeting new people, making new connections and people that are lifelong friends and having a lot of fun, like going out and being wasted for long periods of times and then all of a sudden being in another country in Europe and what happened. I don't know, just good times.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
I think it's all kind of, I mean, just the enjoyment, I think is the most memorable thing to me. Like I often, even now, I don't feel like I'm old, but I stop and think back like so much in my life of just how awesome it's been. Like I've had so much fun. It's been a really, really good time. Yeah.
Cool. So it's the feeling, the
It's
most
the
memorable.
feeling, I would say. Yeah. And just like just the places that I've been to and things that I've seen and
Also, you
uh,
went there not recently, so you probably saw a lot of places before they changed.
yeah, I guess maybe that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been back to them to see what they're like.
How do you define success in context of starting new in a new country?
I mean, it would have to be achieving. I mean, success is really achieving the goals that you achieved or having a lot of personal growth along the way if you didn't achieve those goals. Like you've learned a lot about yourself, even if, yeah, you didn't get to where you thought you were going to get to.
Cool. Perfect. And looking back, what would you say has been the most rewarding aspect of starting new in new countries?
I would say the friendships, the connections that I've made along the way, that's been the most rewarding. So it's just the connections of people, the relationships that I've built and have, because that really to me is what makes life special is the people that are in it. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. And what advice would you give to somebody who wants to go, start new in a different country, not just travel, but really like go live
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
start a job?
Just do it. Trust in yourself. Set up a bit of a plan of what you need to do and do some research if you can. Believe in yourself. Just go and do it. You won't be disappointed. Even if for all the ups and downs, you're going to have a great time.
Perfect. It's a promise.
And
Nice.
it really is. I don't know anybody that's ever gone and done it and had a terrible time unless some catastrophic accidents happened and it
Right.
stopped them from being able to actually achieve what they need to do.
Right. Right. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. What's next for you? Do you have any plans for the future in your country? Or
No, I think just getting like I have kids now, so getting my kids into traveling a bit is kind of the plan. I'll wait till they're a bit older so they can actually make real memories of it. Traveling now with them is just really so I can go and see people. And I'll get to an age where they're old enough to make really good memories and hopefully it'll help shape them as humans as they grow.
perfect. Yeah, I know. I think so. I think you
Yeah.
learn so much through traveling, and especially
Yeah.
when you can go as a kid and experience.
Yeah. It's really eye opening and hopefully very humbling for even young kids. That's my plan.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story and your
All
experience.
right. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye and see you.